So, is eBay dropshipping dead? It's very easy to think when sales are going great, when things are going great with your business, that things are just going to keep going, that you won't have to change anything, and your business will continue to grow and do well. But I think a lot of people have seen, or at least a few people have seen recently, that sales haven't been great for them, that they aren't exactly where they want them to be. And for myself, I'll admit that my sales haven't been what they were in the beginning of the year. So when this started to happen, I started to question, what is going on? Why aren't my sales doing as well as they were in the beginning of the year? Of course, one of the best things to do is to talk to other people, see if it's impacting them as well. And what I've learned is that this is not just hitting eBay dropshippers. It is hitting a lot of people on eBay as well. And I've also been able to talk to people about promoted listings, because a lot of drop shippers have reported that their promoted listings aren't doing well on eBay. I talked about this last week, and since then I had even more people reach out to me to tell me that their promoted listings, whether they're drop shippers or not, are not working either. So it seems to be more of a universal problem than anything else. But of course, you always want to know as much as you can. So I went as close to the source as I could, calling eBay many, many times, as I know a lot of people have done as well, whenever sales don't go well. Now, the unfortunate thing is that eBay representatives often don't know exactly what's going on. But you got to talk to the right representatives, because the ones you really want to speak to are the supervisors in the Anchor store support. Those ones tend to know more than anyone else. And speaking to those representatives, I've learned a few things. What I've learned is that they are not flagging eBay accounts, eBay dropshipping accounts, I should say, and that there's really no way for them to flag eBay dropshipping accounts. Now, with that said, they do have rules on eBay, and they expect all sellers on eBay to be following those rules. And one of those rules has to do with item location representation. They want sellers to accurately describe where the item is located, so that when a buyer comes to the platform, they'll be able to see that the item is, located in Iowa. And so if they live in Iowa, they would expect that the item would get to them faster because of that. Now, the issue here is that, and I've said this before, that is just such a dumb rule. If that's what we're getting flagged for, that is really stupid in my opinion, because it is just not good business to limit sellers to one single location. There is a reason that Amazon.com ships its items from multiple warehouses throughout the United States. There's a reason that Walmart does it, and Home Depot does it, and every major retailer does it, because it's better experience for the customer. It gets the item to the customer faster because they are able to ship the item from the closest warehouse to the customer. Once eBay realizes that this is not good business practice to limit their sellers to one warehouse, I'm hoping they see how stupid it is and will reconsider the fact that they are weighing this new rule, or not even a new rule. It's a rule that they've had for a while, but I'm hoping that when they see how stupid it is, they will reconsider how much emphasis they put on that rule. Unfortunately, right now they do seem to be enforcing that rule more than they probably should. And when they find people violating that, they are lowering their rankings. Now, it doesn't mean that they are banning dropshippers. It doesn't mean that rankings are going off the map completely. It just means they're making it a little bit more difficult when certain items aren't accurately described in terms of their item location. Now, does this mean that dropshipping is dead? No, it doesn't, because it's still working and people are still making money from it. Some rumors out there saying that dropshipping is hitting, or this parent ban on dropshipping is hitting established accounts and not new accounts. So what I did a couple of months ago was I actually went back to an old account that I had. This was an account that I had created in January of 2017. It was an account that I was using in January very actively, was doing a lot of sales on the account. Then I decided to just consolidate my accounts into one, stop listing into it, and then over the summer pulled all the items out of it and moved all the items back to my main account. So this account was not active for a while, but it was a very active dropshipping account earlier in the year. So I decided to use that account again and to start listing items into it using a slightly different strategy than what I've been using in the past. So I wanted to show you what my results are. Here we go. And this is the new store that I created right here. And as you'll see, in the past 31 days, I've done $10,000 in sales on this account. And I just refreshed the page there, so you see that this was real right here. This is pre-recorded, this little bit. I've just found that I have to do videos like this pre-recorded, at least this part. There's just a lot of sensitive information. I don't want to expose my store in any way, so I had to record it beforehand, make sure I'm not exposing anything. Hopefully I covered everything up accurately. So yeah, I did $10,000 in sales in the past month on this account. This one I started basically beginning of October, but technically it was the end of September. I started to drop ship into this account again. You see the numbers, when you have low sales and when you're just starting out, your numbers are going to fluctuate a lot. This day I had like 300, a couple of days I had over 600, but overall over $10,000 in the past 31 days and almost $20,000 since I started it at the end of September on this account. Now, some of the unique things I'm doing with this account are I'm trying to keep the number of items under 1,000. So anytime we get over 1,000 listings, we cut out a bunch because we want to keep it under 1,000. I'm trying to make this store full of just winning products, really solid products that are selling really well, and try to keep the store size smaller because of that. And you see I'm keeping it in good health. My tracking numbers aren't great with this store. I'm wondering if that's from before when I had a lot more items in it, because we've been pretty good with tracking numbers since we started up on it again. So that's what the numbers look like, the raw numbers. But let me show you the profit, because we're keeping careful track of that as well. So this is a spreadsheet we use where we place all the orders on here, or put in all the orders from our suppliers and all the returns, add them all up, and we can put everything else in here as well. So you'll see that the total cost of goods for the month, this was for October. The total sales were $8,222. Cost of goods was $6,073.50. Our fees were a little over $1,300. Cashback credit card yielded us about $120, and cashback website was $243. We had some returns, and I factored in the returns into the fees as well. But that makes a total profit around $1,042.43 for October. But let's look at November so far. Today's only November 20th, so it's only going to be a partial month. Let me fast forward this. So this is all of November here. And we have the sales at $7,000 this month so far, almost $7,100. Cost of goods is around $4,500. Fees are at $961. We have cash back at $141. Cashback website at $282, and $234 so far in returns. Let's put a profit so far at $1,700 for this account that we only started really at the end of September. So what am I doing differently with this one? Really two things. Three things. One, we're keeping the items under 1,000, trying to keep it small and very manageable. Two, what we're doing is I just told my virtual assistant, I hired a new virtual assistant, and said, this is your store. Do not ask me any questions. Do not ask my advice on anything after the first week. It's completely on you. I want you to run the whole store. And if there's any issues, you have to figure them out, because I'm not going to have time to help you. And she's been running the whole store. She never messages me. She only messages me when it's time for her to get paid. And she runs the entire thing for me. It was a test, and it's working really well. So in addition to all the cost I showed you there, you have to also factor in $200 a month for her. She's working part-time on the store. And the cost of the software, which I should have written down. I don't know it off the top of my head, but it's definitely less than $100 because we're keeping the number of listings low. The third thing I'm having her do is I'm not having her just list pretty much any random items. I really want her to do research and find items with higher potential for profit margins. These are, of course, harder to find. It takes a lot more work. And personally, I was really impatient with it. But once I pass it off to her, she has the time, because I'm paying her to do it, she's actually doing it and putting in the work and finding these items that have more margins with them. And that's how we're able to keep the margins for this store higher. So eBay dropshipping is still working. It's still allowed by eBay, and even established stores are still doing well. My main account's still doing well. This new account that I've revived is doing well in addition to that. You know, you look at things like any online business or any business is going to have ups and downs in it. And it's very easy to think that when things aren't as great or as they used to be, as like they were in the golden days, so to speak, that means that it just doesn't work anymore. But the truth is that any business is going to be tough at some point. We're just all about adapting and trying new strategies moving forward. And for me, one of my strategies here is opening this second account and having it run in addition to my main account as just another source of income. And if this goes well, I'm going to do this on another account. And maybe one of the tricks here is to have just a few smaller accounts. I'm not sure. It seems to be working on this account, so I'll certainly try it, certainly report back to all of you guys as I learn more. And one of the other things I would really like to try, and I bet it would be really helpful for you guys as well, is to try some sources that not a lot of other people are drop shipping from. Sources that people are afraid to dropship from, that they think are too much work. Those are ones that there's going to be very little or no competition, and that's where you can really outshine other people, because there is no competition there. So that's my 2 cents here, and I would love to hear if anyone has any questions about eBay dropshipping or Amazon dropshipping at this point. This is live right now, so if you have the questions, drop them in the live chat. If you're watching this on replay, ask the question in the comment section of any of my videos, and then join us for the next live Q&A. I do them every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Sometimes I randomly will give stuff away during live streams without any warning about it. Thursday is Thanksgiving. It's coming up, and to show my gratitude tonight, I'm going to give away something. We'll talk more about that later, but if you want to win, you have to be here live. So if you're not here with us live, consider subscribing to the channel so that you don't miss out on that opportunity to win something potentially next time, and to join us in the live chat, because it's always a lot of fun. So let's see who's here today and see if there's any questions I can answer. Already a lot of comments, and I'm already way behind on the comments. So let's see. We have Doe D saying second, Lazy Abrams saying third. Somehow the first comment isn't showing up inside the software that I use. We have Jay saying seventh. So welcome, Jay. And Antonio here. He's eighth, apparently. Okay, let's see who else is here. Okay. Seattle in the house from Waris Rashid. Waris says, what is the best site to dropship clothing? Oh, I should have read that question before I put it up on the screen, because clothing is not my thing. I have never really dropshipped too much clothing. To be honest, I'm a little afraid to. Again, this is something that people are afraid to drop ship, so it might be something worth trying. I've definitely seen, I was just looking today and I saw a really successful drop shipper drop shipping a lot of clothing, actually predominantly shoes. And the problem with them is sizing. I'm always afraid people are going to return them because I know how easy it is to order things in the wrong size. So I don't have much experience with that. This particular person that I saw today was drop shipping from Amazon. Don't forget that Amazon has a lot of clothing on their website as well, or in this case, they had a lot of shoes. Yeah, and dollar signs agrees with me. You can get a lot of returns for those items. Sea Monkey's doing a play on words. What's up, my fellow shoplifters? You read that too quickly. You're not sure what you're reading there. All right. All right, awesome. We have John in the house. Says, I just started 2 weeks ago, slowly building up my listings. 2 sales from only 75 drop shipped items listed. Plenty of arbitrage sales, but I'm currently getting away from those and building up my dropship inventory. So congratulations, John. I always think it's great to mix the two, arbitrage and drop shipping, to have multiple different streams of income here. All right, let's see if anyone has any questions here. Okay. All right, so let me put up a question that I got this week, and then I'll continue to go through the live chat. So Dean said, maybe I'll do that one later. So Oxygen Man says, any updates on the promoted listings? I hope I was able to answer that one for you already. We have Tim here, says, so last week I released a video all about Chrome extensions, my favorite Chrome extensions for eBay dropshipping. And I'll link that video up here on the replay, so if you want to check that out. But I just talked about the favorite ones that I use and asked you guys if you have any favorites that you can recommend. So Tim recommended a really cool one that I didn't know about. It's called Extensions Manager, aka Switcher. And the great thing about it is that it allows you to turn on and off extensions without having to delete them. That's actually really useful, so thank you, Tim, for that suggestion. And we have Fred here from Florida in the live chat, so welcome, Fred. Phil is back, so thank you, Phil, for joining us. Okay. Okay. Devron is asking if I am making my video from a new location. Yes, it is Thanksgiving week, and one of the great things now that I've quit my job and my 9-to-5 job is that I don't have to wait until Wednesday night, the night before Thanksgiving, to rush out of work, get in my car, get on the highway with all the other people in the traffic jam and rush home for the holiday and then rush back the next day. So I was able to come out to my parents' place a couple days early, hanging out here with them and my family and spending some extra time with them, which is pretty awesome. So I'm here actually in an office around where I live so I can make this video for you guys. Okay, let's see what other questions we got. I had another question from the week. This one is from Bianca. Bianca had a question about my course, saying that if she bought the course and watched all the videos in it, will it close out automatically, or can she go back and watch the videos over and over again? So Bianca, you can definitely rewatch the videos as much as you like. They'll always be there for you. All right. Okay, I'm trying to find a question in the live chat here for you guys. Okay, cool. So dropshipping is a way of life has a great comment here that I want to share with you guys. He says he lost an item not received case. So on eBay, you can get these things called item not received cases. They're not fun. What they are is if a buyer is claiming that they never received the item, and if it's after a certain time, they are allowed to open what's called an item not received case. In most of the time, you can win them as long as you have valid tracking numbers showing that the item actually was delivered. In this case, dropshipping is a way of life. Said that he had an item not received case that he lost, but in actuality, the tracking number wasn't uploaded on time, so he rightfully lost it, but he did call eBay, and after 2 calls, he actually got the strike removed. So that's pretty awesome to hear. Thanks for sharing that. It's always good to hear when eBay is kind of on our side, and I've said this before, but I love the name of your channel. Dropshipping is a way of life. Okay, so Naomi says, what should you do if a customer is asking for real photos and not the stock photos? Can anyone help? Yeah, Naomi. So in this case, you can always tell the buyer that you don't actually have real images of the actual item because you sell a large number of them. You have them in a warehouse, so you can't actually pull off the physical item off the shelf and take a photo of it. And in addition, you don't actually know which of the items they're going to get because you have several of them in stock, and they're just going to get one of them that's pulled off the shelf. So tell them it's a brand new item, so it looks just like it does in the stock photos, and unfortunately you can't give them any more photos than that. Thanks for the compliment on the microphone. Normally I have a mic you can't see, but I forgot that mic at home, so I'm using this one. Okay. So Mohammed says, hey, Paul, can I work Amazon Prime student? I'm not 100% sure what you're asking, but you can use an Amazon Prime student account to drop ship from. If you have that account and you have it legitimately, or even if you don't have it legitimately, not that I recommend that, you can drop ship from it. All right. Noah says those sales are puny. Yeah, on that account, it's like I said, it's a very new account. It's only less than 2 months old, or really since I started working with it, and I haven't been working on it. I just have my virtual assistant run it, and we keep the margins higher on the items. So like I showed you, the profit, even though the sales are small for that account, the profit's actually pretty decent on that account, all things considered. And, we could try to go for a higher volume and list more items, but this is a new strategy I'm testing out. We're only trying to add items with higher margins for them. I think maybe you were giving me a hard time. Okay, yeah. Yeah, it was a rebooted store. That's a good way of putting it, Phil. Okay, so let me try to find some questions in here. So Phil kind of sums it up nicely. Phil says, eBay hasn't really changed anything other than their enforcement. These are rules that already existed on eBay, And now they just want exact location of the items and that the tracking number matches the origin. That's what they want. That's a little bit hard with dropshipping, but that doesn't mean that we're not still getting sales. They're just going to seem to be just penalizing us a little bit for that. There's always, where there's a will, there's always a way. People have been dropshipping for a long time and always making it work. And, we're going to find ways to continue to make this work. Noah had a great question. If my virtual assistant, if I just gave her this store and just had her do it, why doesn't she just create her own store then instead of working on mine? And that's a great question. And I can't fully answer that other than by just saying that some people just aren't entrepreneurs. These virtual assistants that I'm hiring, that other people hire, they want to work for someone else. That is their goal. They find security in it. They feel like there's less risk in it, and that's what they want. So for us, we're entrepreneurs. We're willing to take risks. We're willing to put our credit card on file with PayPal and with these different suppliers, and make that risk for the potential reward. And because we do make the risk, that is why we reap the rewards from it. Whereas an employee or someone like a virtual assistant, they're not really taking too much risk. Of course, there's always risk because you never know if your employer is going to go out of business or if your employer is going to fire you or change your job in a way that makes it impossible for you to do it. So nothing's ever completely risk-free, but certainly when you're an employee, it feels like there's less risk. It feels like there's less on the line for you. It feels like less responsibility for you. Whereas with if you're an employer or you own your own business, a lot's on you. You have to make it work. And it's really about your innovation and your determination that makes the business run. Employees, VAs, they just do what you tell them to do. And for many people, that's all they want. And that's totally fine. Like I've said before, I was that way for a really long time where I was just content having someone else tell me what to do. And for me to go into work and just do that every single day, it just felt easy. It didn't feel stressful. And it just, I just knew if I came in and did that every day, I would be fine. But then after a while, I realized I wanted a higher reward, the potential for a higher reward. And that does mean risk, of course. But one of the great things about a business like eBay dropshipping is that it is something that you can easily do on the side as a side hustle. I did it on the side for almost 2 years, really like a year and a half to almost 2 years before I quit my job. I was able to do it with the full-time job because it is something you can do on the side. And the great thing about that is that there's very little risk because if the business fails at that point, you still have your job you can go back to. And when you're first starting out as an entrepreneur, before you had any success, there's something very comforting in that, knowing that you still have that backup of your 9-to-5 job. Yeah, you want to get out of it. Yeah, that's your goal, but at least it's there. It's supporting your goal, and that's really a great way of looking at it. But yeah, so that's really why these virtual assistants don't want to get out and do it themselves, because they just don't have that entrepreneur spirit. They don't want the risk. They just want someone else telling them what to do every day for work. And Phil coming in to sweep up and tell me all the things I forgot. So Phil, of course, reminds us that these VAs are also in the Philippines, and starting a business there as opposed to here in America is more difficult, especially for something like this. All right, so let's see some other questions. I'm really behind on the chat, so I'm trying to catch up for you guys. Okay, great question from admin. I'm sorry, I don't want to mispronounce your last name, so I'm not going to try. So you say, "Hi, Paul. In this Q4, I have seen that some orders I place, the products may have a delay. In that case, is it better to increase the handling time or message the customer? Thank you." So this brings up a great topic that I've been meaning to talk about, but haven't had the chance to until right now. So it's currently November 20th, 2018. And anyone who's watching this live or right after this will know that out west in California, there are some really bad wildfires out there right now. That has caused a major problem, of course, for California. And, we should all feel like a lot of sympathy for what's going on over there. But, any natural disaster like this also has impacts on business. So in this case, it is impacting shipping to that area and out of that area. And I've already seen that with some of my suppliers who haven't been able to get their items out on time or as quickly as they used to be able to because of the wildfires happening out there. So eBay is aware of this, and anytime they have a big natural disaster like this, they always provide seller protection, meaning that if you are shipping into or out of that area, they will protect you. So if an item arrives late or has to be canceled because of the wildfires, eBay will make sure that you're not penalized for that, or at least that's the idea. So just be aware of that. If there's any issues with the delay and you're trying to figure out what happened, see where the item's going, see where it's coming from. If it's anywhere near California, that could be the problem. And again, if you run into any issues with customers complaining, leaving negative feedback, item not received cases, and you can prove where it's coming from or going to in near California, eBay, there's a good chance will side with you on this and take care of you as a seller. But other than that, during the holiday season, we do see some delays in general because there's just so many more products being shipped out. It's always fine to tell the customer, hey, there's a slight delay. A lot of times, if it's just one day, my team doesn't say anything, and it's been fine 99% of the time. But it doesn't hurt to send out a quick message saying there was a slight delay. We're getting it to you as fast as possible, and we're sorry. All right. So Wally David says, how exactly do you research the high profit margin items? So this is something I use software for. We're using Chili Hunter to do research on items. And I can go more into exactly how we do that in a future video. Instead of just talking through it here, I can actually show it in a future video. So that's probably what I'll do. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's see if I had any more questions from this week. Pop up these ones. Okay, so Come On said when I was talking about calling eBay support, he said that a lot of times when you call, you'll get someone from the Philippines and there's a language barrier, so it's difficult for you to communicate. So if you ever have any problems, try calling at night in America, and you'll likely get someone from America, and usually you get better customer service according to this person. Okay, so a great question from Edward. Edward said, I thought eBay and PayPal would frown upon you if you're using a VPN because they think you're trying to hide something. So this was in response to last week's video about Chrome extensions, and I talked about the Chrome extension I like to use that's a VPN, and Edward wants to know if that's a problem with eBay. I use it all the time. I've never had an issue. My virtual assistants use VPNs and they log into eBay. They've never had an issue either. So I don't think it's any problem here. No. So May says, I'm just finishing your course. I've never sold anything online before. Should I wait until after Christmas? No, we should get started right now. Now's a great time to get started. They always say the best time to get started was 30 years ago, and the next best time is today. I wouldn't wait till after Christmas. There's no reason to. You might not get the volume of sales that a lot of other people will get during Christmas season because you are coming in just before Black Friday, but there's no reason to wait. You should always get started as soon as you can. Mike makes a great point, so thank you, Mike. Mike, it seems, has been selling on eBay for a while, and he says that a few years ago, eBay made some other changes, and they required some item specifics. Mike said that when that happened, people freaked out about it, and now it's not a big deal. I think this is a common theme with eBay, is that they make changes, we have to adapt to them, and in that process of adapting, it gets difficult. As we're learning, and people freak out over it. And then after a while, we get used to it, we figure out how it works, and we work with it. This is eBay's playground. They set the rules. We're here to play their game, and we have to play by their rules. And sometimes the rules change, and, we have no choice but to adapt to those rules in the new game that's being played. So I want to take a moment, like we do every week, and I want to welcome the new members to the Titans tribe inside the course, Dropshipping Titans. So we had Chris, who just joined the course, so welcome, Chris. We have Lynn and Philip join the course today, Eugene and Steven, and another Steven, so welcome both Stevens and Jorge. Welcome, guys, to the course. I think we have a few others here. We have Brenton, Shelby, Anna, Julie, welcome to the Dropshipping Titans tribe. And we have Pattison, Dom, Michelle, June, Wendy, Anna, and another Steven. So welcome everyone to the Titans tribe. Congratulations on getting started with the program. And I also, like I mentioned before, it is Thanksgiving. And one of the things that I'm definitely thankful for this year are you guys. Everyone who subscribes to this channel, who gives all my videos thumbs up, who supports me, asks questions, gives comments. I'm trying to put more comments on the screen, not just questions, because a lot of times the advice you guys have is really excellent and spot on. So I like to highlight those as well. So I'm thankful for all of you. So thank you so much. So to show my appreciation, I want to give something away. So I will be giving away one free entry to my course, Dropshipping Titans. So if you are interested in winning that and you're here live, just leave one comment telling me what you're thankful for. Please don't spam with a million comments of everything you're thankful for, but leave one comment, tell me what you're thankful for, and I'll pick a random one. I'm not going to pick the best one or the one I like the most or the funniest one. I'll pick a random one, and you will win free entry to my course. If you're already a member of the course, then I will give you entry to one of the other courses or give you coaching, or I can reimburse you. We'll talk about it. We'll make something happen for you. But let me look at some of the other comments people have, and then I'll pick a winner for that one. Kelly wants to know what I did for work before I went full-time. I was an attorney here in New York City in corporate America. I'm not in New York City right now, but in New York City. Okay. Oh, I should have. So I mentioned before arbitrage sales, and I didn't talk about what that is. That's when people go to like thrift stores. They actually go to physical Walmarts and physical Home Depots. They find items that are one price, knowing that the item could be sold for more on eBay or Amazon. Then they flip the items on eBay or Amazon. There's also online arbitrage, which is where people will actually find items on Home Depot, Walmart, Amazon.com, buy them, have the items shipped to their home, and then send them to Amazon FBA. Well, actually, no, sorry. They don't ship them to their home, or sometimes they do. but they get them shipped to Amazon FBA's headquarters or into Amazon FBA's facility, and then Amazon will hold on to it until someone buys it on Amazon, and then Amazon will ship it to the customer. I didn't do a great job explaining that, but that's basically what it is. Cindy wants to know how she can avoid Walmart canceling her orders. This sometimes happens with new sellers, unfortunately, where Walmart will cancel their orders. Really, it's just a fraud protection where Walmart sees you're placing a lot of orders. They want to make sure that you are not somebody who stole a credit card and is quickly using it a bunch of times and getting a bunch of items shipped out before the credit card is shut down. So what you can do is when you're first starting out, you want to mix it up. So use your credit card, pay with PayPal, pay with gift cards, but keep coming back to your credit card because the more you use it, the more Walmart will stop canceling your sales, if that makes sense. And anytime they do, call in and tell them that you authorize this purchase and they'll let the sale go through. You might have to do that a couple times, but if you keep doing that and keep mixing it up, you'll be fine after a little bit. All right. All right, so let me see another question. Okay, so Edwin asked a question, says, what do you recommend to change the item location to on eBay? A real location instead of multiple locations? You know, the most accurate thing is to put multiple locations. And on eBay's website, they say that this is allowed. So this is what I've been leaning towards lately, especially considering that they want something accurate. And this is technically the most accurate thing that you can do. So that's what I've basically been doing recently, or as of late. Okay. Okay. So let's look at this comment from this week. Dean says, this is on one of my videos. This is the hater of the week. Dean said, get to the point, guy. I'm 4 minutes into the video and all I hear is pointless rambling. WTF. So Dean, I have a great tip for you. Underneath this video, there's a button that says subscribe. If you are subscribed, unsubscribe, then hit the back button and stop watching my videos. Simple as that, Dean. Lewis was asking when I started that new store I showed before. I started that at the end of September, pretty much I think we started 2 weeks before October. It's when we rebooted it. Okay. And this is a great point as well, Mohammed, because I've seen this as well, where a lot of sellers who are not drop shippers are seeing similar things that we as drop shippers are seeing, even where their item location is accurate. So maybe this isn't even exactly the full truth, which wouldn't surprise me with eBay. They're not always the most transparent. This brings up another point because I think for us drop shippers, things like this impact us more because we have such a high volume of sales and because our margins are lower. So any change like this does seem to impact us more, which could be part of the issue as well. Okay. So, great question from the Financial Freedom Network. If you do not upload a tracking number and then the customer opens up an item not an item not received case, can you then provide the tracking number to eBay or a message? What happens there? Will you automatically lose? So eBay's new rule is that you have to upload a tracking number before the item not received case is opened. If an item's not received case is open and there was no tracking number uploaded, then you're basically at the mercy of the buyer. You can message the buyer and tell them, hey, actually, this item was shipped out, it was delivered, here's a tracking number. But if they still claim that they never received the item, then eBay is saying that you will lose the case. Now, obviously, the smart thing to do here is just to upload tracking numbers for all your orders. And you can either do this manually or you can do this with a software like TrackerBot is the one that I use and love. I'll have an affiliate link to that in the description of the video. It just uploads most of the tracking numbers for my orders. Doesn't get all of them, but it gets most of them. And my VAs get as many as they can after that, or the ones that are missed. So that's the best way to prevent this from happening. But if it does happen, we haven't ran into this yet. But I'm hoping that in most of the cases, what will happen is that the item not received case will be opened and either one of two things, or really one of three things will happen. One, we'll realize that the item never made it to the customer for whatever reason, and we'll just refund them, and the supplier will refund us as well. So it's really not a big deal in that case. Or two, we have a tracking number. Maybe the item was delayed. Maybe the customer didn't realize that the item that was delivered to them was our item, because that sometimes happens. So we just tell the customer, hey, this item actually was delivered, or it is still on its way, and here's the tracking number. And then the customer says, oh, thank you. And then they close out the item not received case. The third scenario is the bad one. That's where the item is actually delivered, but the customer claims it isn't. And I think those are going to be pretty rare, considering that there's so many steps before that in order to prevent you from arriving at that situation. All right. Okay, so before we get to the everything what everyone's thankful for, let me see if there's a couple more questions I can grab. Oh yeah, but I forgot to mention this from Dropshipping is a Way of Life. Remember what he said before, that even in this situation where he lost, he was still able to get it removed later. I'm not sure if this is going to continue to work in the future, and I personally haven't tested this because, like I said, we haven't ran into this situation yet. But I'm willing to bet that there are some representatives out there who aren't fully trained and who you could probably ask to get this removed, this kind of strike on your account, and who probably will, if you actually have a valid tracking number. So again, just upload as many tracking numbers as you can, and really consider refunding a customer if you can't provide that tracking number, especially if the item wasn't actually delivered. Love this comment. Thank you so much. So congratulations, man. Says my son and I started this business together and we sold our first item today. Congratulations. John Reese wants to know what makes dropshipping on Amazon difficult. The difficulty is with Amazon's rules and their real strict adherence to those rules. They really want to make sure that you provide amazing customer service. And they have no problem kicking you off if you mess anything up. So they have really strict metrics about tracking numbers, about responding even to customers within 24 hours, just different things like that. You really have to be on your game and have a great team in place to make sure that you are continually treating your store and your customers with the kind of respect that Amazon really expects from their sellers. They have no problem kicking you off. Okay, let's see. Okay, Nick says Amazon sometimes will block him from buying an item by telling him that he's already bought the item too many times. Is there a way around this? So there are limitations on some items, how many times you can buy them. Really, there's not a way around this besides opening another Amazon account. That's not really sustainable. It's not really scalable. So I always recommend you just delete those items from your store, Nick, and stop selling them. Hopefully you can get at least those last orders fulfilled before you delete that item, but that's what I would recommend. All right, so let's get to what everyone's thankful for. But I'm really behind on the comments, so I am trying to catch up and find what everyone's thankful for. I'm thankful for Phil, always dropping some knowledge inside the chat. Really appreciate you, Phil. All right, I'm going to skip ahead. Tyler, I'm going to get to your super chat in a second. Don't worry. Thank you, Jeff. I'm thankful for you. The super chat, $5. That's going to go towards the puppy fund. Get him a nice treat. All right, a lot of comments. I'm trying to find the ones. I know you guys dropped some comments in here about what you're thankful for. So what I'm going to do first is show some of the comments before I pick a random one. So if you see yours on the screen, don't get too excited yet. That doesn't necessarily mean you won. I'm just going to show some that stick out to me and then pick a random winner by closing my eyes. So a lot of people here are thankful for their family, like Muhammad, like Christian. Let's see who else. People are thankful for being healthy. I can certainly relate to that. Thankful for their love, their significant others, for family. Great things to be thankful for. Nick is thankful for eBay. Thank you, Todd. I really appreciate your comment saying you're thankful for my honesty and sincerity. P&J Discount, thankful for owning my own business. That's certainly something I'm thankful for this year as well. Again, Dominic has something similar. I'm thankful for having the opportunity to take control of my life. I love that one. Model Supplies, also thankful to be able to work from home. Andrew is thankful to be making money. Naomi's thankful for life itself. And Diedrich, I love this one. I'm thankful that I had the courage to try dropshipping rather. Thankful for partners. Who is 1 year survived cancer. The doctors told her she had no chance to survive. Thank you. That is amazing, Blaze. So happy for you that you were able to beat that. So really happy for you. TJ says, so thankful I found dropshipping in your course. Man, my day job is boring. Okay, so I think I read enough of them. Let me pick a random one. What I'm going to do is close my eyes and just scroll around and find the first comment right here that I find. Now I can't see anything. We have the winner here is Jake. Jake says, thankful for my day job and opportunities like this for a side job. So Jake, if that is you, send me an email with a screenshot of the inside of your YouTube account so I know that it's really you and not someone else trying to steal your prize. My email will be linked down below, and you can just send that email out to me. I'll make sure you get your prize. So congratulations, Jake. We still have some more time, so if there are any more questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Let's Chat wants to know what I use for bookkeeping. I use QuickBooks. I always want to say FreshBooks, but I don't use FreshBooks. I use QuickBooks. That's the one that I use. Love this one too. I'm thankful for YouTube and everything I have learned from watching it. And Model Supplies says that she uses she uses GoDaddy bookkeeping. That's another great one, especially if you're selling on eBay. It's probably better designed for eBay than QuickBooks. But my accountant kind of wanted me to use QuickBooks. It wasn't really too much of a hassle for me to switch over. But GoDaddy is just really great for eBay dropshipping or eBay because it links up with your PayPal account, it links up with your credit cards, and a lot of it is automated for you. So really not a bad option there. And thanks for that recommendation, Model Supplies. Okay, so Sea Monkeys is thankful that he looks like Brad Pitt, but not thankful for his little white lies. Love that one as well. Trying to see if there's any other questions in here that I can answer for you guys before we wrap up. Okay, let's see. So Travis asks a great question, says, how do you deal with Amazon logistics tracking numbers? These are tracking numbers provided by Amazon for their private tracking service or private shipping service. eBay doesn't accept the numbers. Now you can upload them. You can use a service like TrackerBot so that you don't lose cases, but it doesn't count towards your validated tracking numbers on eBay. So unfortunately, there's nothing you can do about it if you're drop shipping from Amazon. It's just kind of a reality and something that every big drop shipper from Amazon has to deal with. There are ways around it, but they're less legit, I would say. Not something I do. Okay, with that said, I want to drop one more comment in here, but I got to find it. So bear with me 1 second. And I just want to remind you guys that if you like this video, I would really appreciate it if you give the video a thumbs up. And if you love the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I'll have more great content like this coming at you in the future. So again, just hit that like button. Let me get rid of this. Yeah, just hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and that way you don't miss out on any other content in the future. So last comment of the day here is from Dropship Tyler, leaving a $24.99 super chat. So thank you, Tyler. Shameless plug on his behalf. Said that he had a funny video that he made over on his channel. It was more funny for me than it was for him because I pranked Tyler over there. Kind of got back at him for something he did to me. So if you want to check out that video, make sure to find it over on his channel. And the other benefit of going over on this channel is that he actually does talk in a recent video about a unscrupulous way of dealing with Amazon tracking numbers. He doesn't personally do it, but if you watch his video about when he bought an item from another dropshipper, he explains in that video what that dropshipper does. So you can find that over on his channel. It's a funny video, and I think you guys are going to enjoy it. So thanks so much for watching. If you want to make sure you get the next video, subscribe. And I'll make sure to have the most recent, the last live chat that we did up here. So if you want to watch that one right now, that will start right now if you click right here. Thanks so much for watching. For those of you who are watching this live, have a great Thanksgiving.